Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of November 28th. We're just going to jump right in here, Gemini, and we are going to take a look at your past energy here. And you have this bat card, and it says intuition on it. I feel like something that you've been intuitively picking up on is entering into your reality. I don't know. I feel that pretty strongly for you, Gemini. Again, this is your past position, but I feel like you've been intuitively sensing something in your energy, and you have the sun, so it's like you're going from picking up on something intuitively to actually having it in reality. And this could be anything, like maybe you've been feeling a person entering into your energy, so it could be a person. Maybe you've been feeling a job or something else, but the feeling has changed is what I feel like saying there, as in it's like maybe you haven't been feeling anything, and now all of a sudden it's like you feel as if you have something. So there's very strong feelings is what I'm trying to spit out here, Gemini, in this first position, which is pretty interesting. It has been a very intuitive time, so I would make sure to kind of keep trusting your intuition, here. And I wouldn't say stop listening to your intuition, obviously, but I feel it could still be a very intuitive time. You have the Hermit, the Sun, and the Four of Wands. Both of these cards really tell me that this is you're manifesting something, or you have manifested it. But I don't know if it's, I feel we manifest everything, but this is more like you saw something coming before it actually showed up in your life. It feels very fulfilling to me. I feel like you're going to be very happy, even in your last row, which is going to represent your outcome. You have this bearing fruit card, which is something, getting abundance or getting something you've been hoping for. So definitely a lot of success coming in here. You have the Hermit here as well. I kind of feel some of you maybe ask the universe for something, you ask for love, or you've been asking for money or something, and maybe you've been going through a period of darkness. But again, with the Sun, it's like you're coming out of a period of darkness and entering into something much better. I also have a weird message with the Hermit popping into my head. Sometimes I think we ask for something, maybe we have a relationship, but we say, universe, I want the right person for me. And sometimes that leads to a breakup, right? And so I feel like for some of you, it's you asked for something, and maybe initially you experienced a loss or some sort of challenge. And I kind of feel like you're coming out of this energy. And look, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands, of course, is a card of marriage. So definitely could be love coming in for you, but Four of Wands is a card of freedom. To me, it's a card of crossing a finish line, or, finishing things up or wrapping something up. So I feel like you could be completing one stage of your journey in this reading, is saying you're kind of manifesting something here on Earth that you've asked for. But I feel like it hasn't been easy for you to get it at the same time as well. Yeah, look, with the Hermit, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Some of you literally have been a hermit. I feel like some of you have literally been experiencing more alone time, or maybe you've just been feeling a little bit more like you're in hermit mode, or you've been feeling a little bit more lonely. Again, I feel like you're coming out of this period of time. I feel like you're stepping into a much more social time. It's not going to happen overnight. I feel like this is something that is going to progress as we go through 2023. You're probably just going to become more and more and more social, right? Which is going to be, I feel this is good social. It's not you're going to be, it's not like you're not going to want to do it, is what I'm trying to spit out here. I also feel Nine of Pentacles is kind of the reward that you could be earning. With the Sun card, you have the Knight of Wands. Definitely could be love coming in for you. And again, because I get that feeling where it's it's almost like you can feel someone's presence even though they're not in your life yet. And again, I don't think you know who this person is yet. So it could be a new person. Definitely could be a fire sign for sure. With the Four of Wands, you have the Empress. Definitely a lot of abundance coming in for you. Nine of Pentacles, pre-Empress energy, and here you go. You have the Empress. A lot of abundance coming in for you. I also kind of feel this is the birth of something new. You have this card plus the Queen of Cups. Both cards to me are cards of the mother. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get pregnant. I don't honestly feel pregnancy here. Obviously, I would be careful if you're not trying to get pregnant. But at the same time, I don't really feel that energy. I feel this is more you birthing something and nurturing something into existence. I say this mostly because you have this Justice card, Two of Wands. Justice is cause and effect. It's if you put energy into something, what do you get out of it? But you also have this Imagine card, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But on the Imagine card, there's a person that is dragging the moon down to Earth. And the moon can represent illusions, fantasies, fears, things like that, but it can also represent a dream, and that's what that card represents. So I feel like you could be nurturing a dream into existence. Next, you have this first quarter moon in Pisces. It says honor your feelings. So, I feel like you need to pay attention to your feelings and, how you feel about different things in life. I feel like you need to pay attention to your intuition, of course, as well. But there's some sort of, I feel like you've experienced a loss in the recent past. You have the Five of Cups here. Five of Cups is crying over spilt milk, or spilt wine. So you might be crying over something. The story of the Five of Cups is that the wine he's crying over is something that he no longer enjoys in the first place, And so some of you could be needing to kind of really see, like, how do you really feel about a loss? You have the Five of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Swords. Again, I always say on the Five of Cups that if he were to just turn around, he would see the two cups behind him. So the Five of Cups is really a card of gratitude. And right next to it, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is the card of gratitude and luxuries. So I feel like being grateful for what you do have is going to be very important for you, and I feel it's going to lead to the most fulfillment. But I do feel there is a lot of happiness coming in for you with this Five of Cups energy if you kind of like, look on the bright side of life. And again, I always say, like, he doesn't just get the two cups behind him either. He gets the bridge and the castle as well, so he's getting a lot more than just, two cups. You have the Queen of Cups here. Part of me feels like, this is your present position. So I feel like right now, regardless of what you're going through, I would be nurturing yourself more, taking care of yourself. I feel this is talking about self-care. I feel it's talking about, fulfilling yourself in some way. This could be through, socializing. But for some of you, maybe you don't want to socialize this minute. Like I said, for the most part, I feel like you will be socializing a lot more as we, kind of get into 2023. So you might want to, enjoy some hobbies. Maybe you need to go enjoy nature or just do something nice for yourself. I definitely get that energy here. And finally, you have the King of Swords. I feel this is the energy that you're stepping into. Like a much more decisive, I get a much more clear, decisive energy, of course, with this card. Part of me feels that Mars in Gemini is the truth. It is, and why? Why? Because it's like the opposite of the truth. But if you've noticed, there have been a lot of truths that have come out recently, and some pretty big truths as well. So we're going to see more of that as Mars moves through Gemini. And, I think even, we're in the shadow till like the middle of March. So, probably a lot of truths coming out. And then it's not going to slow down, by the way, because, as I've said to everyone else, Pluto is on its way into Aquarius. It's going to retrograde back into Capricorn next year. So it's going to just be like a briefly in Aquarius, but it doesn't matter. It's like once it's moved in, that's it, And we'll all be dead the next time Pluto comes back to Aquarius, because that's going to be in like 200-something years. So what I would say here is that, there's going to be a lot of truths coming out. But part of these truths doesn't even have to do with lies. I think sometimes I say truths and people are like, oh, liars. That's not what I'm really talking about. What I'm talking about more is like your own inner truth. Like, what is true for you in your life, and how can you live more of that? Like, if your truth is that you want to be healthy, it's like, how can you be more healthy? If your truth is that you get married and have children and build a family, how can you have more of that? It's more about your inner truth is what this is talking about, and creating more fulfillment. With the Five of Cups, you have the Strength card. I feel like you've been very patient, very strong, and working on a lot of things. The Strength card is kind of like a daily practice, because on a traditional Strength card, the lion is submitting to the lady on the Strength card, and it kind of represents the fact that we have to work on our inner voice like every single day. We have to, she is that lion represents her inner critic. She is taming her inner critic. And, some of you, I would be very careful of your words at this time, especially with that Honor Your Feelings card. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Seven of Pentacles, some sort of change in your feelings. So again, I feel like that's why it's saying honor your feelings. Some of you, I feel, could be changing your feelings about work. For others, I feel like you're changing your feelings about a person. It's like you're trying to end a cycle here. You have the Nine of Swords. You're not the only person to get this, Gemini. I'm pretty sure almost every single person has had the Nine of Swords. Kind of makes sense. I think when we have a bunch of retrogrades, and as I've said to everyone, it's like a double, like quadruple whammy this year, because then at the end of the year, Mercury goes retrograde again. We literally have not had a break, because Mercury, we just had Mercury retrograde, whatever that was, end of September or wherever, and now like basically we have Mars retrograde and then we have Mercury retrograde. It's like we can't escape it. But what I would say here is there's some sort of change in direction. It's like you're figuring out what's worth it, because look, this right here is very fulfilling. This row, Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles to the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is something where you put work in you get a result out. It's very straightforward energy and really, really nice. So there's much more fulfillment, I think, in that direction going towards the Eight of Pentacles. With the King of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like this is what you're trying to avoid, honestly. I feel like you're trying to avoid, like, people, places, and things. This is not one thing that's popping into my head. I feel like you want more decisive energy in your life. Like, in love, I feel like you want people who can make decisions, and you don't want, like, back and forth type of energy. In a job, I feel like you want something where your job is clear to you, where you understand exactly what you're meant to do or what your boss expects of you. You want, like, very clear, boundaries. It's kind of weird that I'm getting that on this card, but that's what I'm getting. I read intuitively. That's what I'm getting. So there you go. Same thing in a business. It's like maybe you want to be clear if you have a business. It's like you're wanting to set very clear boundaries is the word that's popping to my head. Is that the right word? I would say maybe not. It might be like goals. Maybe you want to be like, I want to work towards exactly this, and I'm going to do it exactly this way. I would be careful of being too fixed right now, but at the same time, I don't know, I feel good about this because it's like sometimes I think when we're not being demanding, but when we're kind of being very clear about what we expect, then we get it. Next, in your future position, you have this Imagine card. I love this card. There's like a lady or a child or something pulling the moon down to Earth. It's kind of hard to see, but to me, this represents manifesting a dream here on Earth, or manifesting some sort of fulfillment. Even the traditional moon card in the tarot, to me, it is a card of manifesting a dream. Even though it represents fears, anxieties, all those other things, it can still represent, manifesting a dream on Earth. So I kind of feel that's what's going on here. You have the Nine of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles here. The Nine of Swords is like some sort of round and round situation that I feel that you are trying to bring to an end. Something is like a nightmare. Something has been a nightmare, I feel. I feel like you're bringing it to an end in your life. For some of you, I feel like it could be like a past relationship, but, maybe it's something that keeps repeating in your life. And so I feel you're just like on to something new. Even right next to it, you have the Page of Pentacles. So that to me would say like new love, if it's love, for example. Could also be a job as well. I'm kind of just getting that same old story type of energy here. So you could have even had a job where it's like maybe your boss kept telling you, oh, like we're going to give you a raise and like all this other stuff, but maybe they just never did. And so I feel like you're kind of like saying to yourself, you know what, like I'm done with the same old story. I'm on to something new. I feel like you see that something isn't worth it any longer. You even have the Seven of Pentacles like right here with the Empress. So you are very focused on, making sure that you take control as far as the creation of your own abundance is concerned. That is a mouthful, but I feel like you are no longer leaving any type of abundance up to someone else. That's how I see this reading for you. You have the Two of Wands here. Again, the moon right up here, and she's holding the world in her hands. It's like she could literally pull that moon down to Earth. So I feel for a lot of you, the Two of Wands is encouraging you to leave a comfort zone. One of my favorite people of all time, John Taffer, says, if you're doing the same thing today that you did yesterday, you're stuck, right? So I feel like you need to do things differently or try new things in life, especially if you've been feeling stuck. I know it sounds simple, but, it is complicated. I get it. You have the Eight of Pentacles here. I love this. Sometimes on the Eight of Pentacles, I just feel direct results, meaning if you put work into something, you get a result, whether it's a relationship, a business, a job, or, some side work, whatever you're doing, doesn't matter. But I feel like you're seeing results, at least at this time. So it's kind of like there's a much more clear direction coming in for you. And I feel it's like you're taking control of the creation of your own abundance. And that was a terrible spread there. So let's try that again. With the Nine of Swords, you have the King of Swords, much more clear about what you want. You have the King of Swords twice in your reading, so I feel like you're in this very decisive position. Like you're calling the shots is really what I'm getting here. With the Two of Wands, you have the Tower. I don't really feel like this is a bad thing. I feel this could be a good thing. I feel like you're creating tower moments maybe for other people, and so what? It's like, I think that all of us have to experience this at some point in our life where maybe we make a decision that our parents don't agree with, but also maybe we're like 40 years old. It's like they no longer control us, and we have to make a decision to do that. So you could be creating some tower moments for other people, but it's your life. So, as I always say, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. I would also say that some of you could be moving here with the Two of Wands. You could just be moving on to something else. The other thing that I would tell you is that, the tower falls because the people inside the tower have been ignoring reality. On the Two of Wands, there's a story of the Two of Wands where the guy, he's standing at the top of the Two of Wands, and he is kind of ignoring reality. He has rushed to a finish line. He has he's standing at the top of his castle, and the story is that he didn't like enjoy the journey. He just rushed right to the finish line. So the Two of Wands is kind of about needing to go on a new adventure. He thinks there's nothing more for him to experience, but he has the whole world in his hands. He could, accomplish and experience so much more. So it kind of gives me the whole, variety is a spice of life. I feel that you could have a Tower moment, but, I don't see the Tower as a bad card in the first place, number one. Number two, it's like if you're doing the same thing that you did yesterday, you're stuck, right? The Tower happens to unstick us, and that's what could be happening here. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the King of Wands wanting to pop out there. I don't take pop outs, but we'll keep it in mind. And you have the Justice card with the Eight of Pentacles. Exactly what I was saying. You put work into something, I feel like you're going to get a result. Justice is literally cause and effect. You have the Justice card twice here in your reading, so I feel like there's like a very clear, energetic exchange going on here. It doesn't matter in any area of your life. At the end here, for your outcome, you have this Bearing Fruit card. Love it. It's like you are literally creating your own abundance. Like I said, I feel like you are responsible. It's like you're taking responsibility for your own abundance as well, is what I'm getting. For those of you that have been working on something for a long time as well, I feel this could just be the results you've been hoping for. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Justice card, and the Six of Swords. Again, very straightforward energy here. With the Justice card, I feel if you're investing in any situation and if you're not getting something back from it, I feel like you're cutting those things out of your life very, very quickly. Again, justice is cause and effect. I do feel for some of you could be going through like a legal situation, but you have the King of Swords, so this is like law and order. So I do feel if you're going through something legal, that there will be justice. With the Page of Pentacles, I feel like you're really, really focused on new experiences and new situations. I'm not even just getting this as just a person. Like, I'm getting everything. That you're focusing on those situations where you can almost control your abundance, where you can create it. I do also feel that this could be news that's coming in for you. We're going to clarify that to see, like, what the news could be. And you have the Six of Swords. It's like, finally, improvements. I'm pretty sure I titled, like, one of your last readings, Finally. I really get that feeling for you in your readings recently, Gemini, where you're just, like, saying, finally. Like, finally, there's a break. Finally, I'm catching a break. Or, things are going a little bit more my way, right? Meaning your way. So I feel finally here, Gemini, it's like things are kind of progressing in a direction that you want them to. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Page of Cups, definitely new love if you want it. If you don't want new love, again, the Page of Cups normally has a fish in that cup that he is holding, and it kind of represents his imagination or something that he's creating in his head. So there is definitely a very powerful energy here of kind of creating your own reality by manifesting a dream here on Earth. I feel like just taking the smallest step, as I always say, towards a dream is what you need to do. With the Justice card, you have the Two of Swords. For some of you, I feel like I'm wondering if there's like a legal situation where you're not getting exactly the outcome you want. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so do not take this as legal advice, but, I would listen to your lawyer, number one. Number two, you could be deciding to like cut your losses for some of you. That's obviously not going to be for all of you. For others, again, this is a card of leaving a comfort zone right next to the Two of Wands. Both cards to me represent kind of like going somewhere new, leaving a comfort zone, experiencing something different in your life. With the Six of Swords, you have the Hierophant. Both cards represent a rite of passage. Like, multiple people this week have had both cards together, which is pretty weird. I can't remember a week where I've had those two together. So some of you could be going through a rite of passage, or you have gone through something that was like a little bit more challenging, which I think we kind of talked about with the Hermit. And now you're kind of going towards something new. So, love it. We're going to pull 3 cards now, Gemini, and I'm going to answer one question. So, we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 right here. If you have a question, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm going to put them all together at the end, like a personalish reading. So, I'm going to read these cards right now. So, pause now, and you have the Emperor, the Ten of Cups, and the Lovers. Amazing. I'm sorry, the Empress, the Ten of Cups, and the Lovers. Definitely could be love. This is definitely a yes if you asked a yes-no question. I also feel this is like fortune after difficulty. And like I said, you're like clearly in control of your own abundance. You have the Empress twice now in the reading. Ten of Cups is your happily ever after, and the Lovers could be love, but it could also just be this new path that is kind of showing up here with the 2 twos, 2 Wands, 2 of Swords, and also the Justice card. It's like you're moving towards things that are much more fulfilling in your life, but this looks amazing. Love it. I feel like if there's love coming in, could be a fire sign. You have a lot of fire here. You have a little bit of water, earth. You have basically everything here, but fire really stands out to me. But again, take it how it resonates. Could be any sign coming in for you. But this looks really good. So thank you for being here, Gemini. I really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.